Hello there and welcome to the Glow Up Method. This is the place where we talk all things life transformation, life improvement, life empowerment, personal development. Hello, hi. My name is Natasha and I'm truly honored and excited to be here with you today. Today's episode is all about rolling with the punches. It is rare that an illness infiltrates the entire family, but this one did. All six of us got some variation of it. My kids say, there's a real thing called mom power, and we can just do different things than they can, because it's there isn't time to stop and get sick, and the show must go on. So, and especially in these times where things are just a little bit on the strange side. But today's episode, like I said, is all about rolling with the punches. So I wasn't even able to record yesterday. Here is the deal. I had every intention, my day was going smoothly. And then suddenly, actually, no, this was an exciting part. So I'm not even going to say this was a problem or anything, but you know me, I love to chat. And so I met this new lady at the gym. She works there. She works in the shop. She only works on Tuesdays. And so after I do my workout, I think it's really exciting to go and say hi to her. And today it was yesterday we had a little bit more time. Next thing you know, 2 hours had nearly gone by and we were chatting, and I was like, listen, I want your number. Can I have your number? What the heck is that? Adult friending here? But I was I would be really sad if I wasn't able to talk to her before. Again, she was so cool to talk to. I just absolutely loved her. Very similar kind of time of life that we are. We both have 4 kids. She is going through a divorce. She's in the process of a divorce, so she's further on, and so, I had originally talked to her a couple of weeks ago months ago, I don't know, things were a little bit more crazy than what they are now, which is so crazy. So, I am still in this position where I'm really enjoying my time with Chris. I'm really enjoying who I am showing up as in the respect to being a partner. And like I say, he could or couldn't change. That's up to me to decide if I want to stay with, or if he's, if it's sustainable. The thing here, the project, the joy is coming from my experience. What a difference being true with myself, what it is I want, and then expressing that directly and not thinking I want them to know and I hope this is going to work out, and just, why isn't he asking me to just randomly cook sushi with him? It's not going to happen, okay? If it does, it's a fluke and that's by luck. And so I am, just like you guys, are way more in control of our destiny than we give ourselves credit for. Yes, it does not always mean our partner is willing and able to meet us where we want to be met. We may not have every detail of the fairy tale that we have envisioned in our mind, and quite honestly, we may be creating a whole horror film because we're just sitting in silence. But what if you were honest with your partner? What if you were hey, I really, I want to go make pottery and I really want to do it with you? What's the harm? It's not happening right now. So just be honest about where you are, what you want. It makes such a difference. I honestly, like I said, I reserved having any wants or things. I thought love was reserved for novels, fairy tales, movies, TV shows. It wasn't something I was ever going to be able to experience. And if I was, it was never going to be with Chris. And so even watching these things back from a few months ago to where I am now, like I say, this is a completely 180. I never saw this coming. And now it's it's the evening and I'm I want to spend time with him. Last night, we were here for a while. Then we both had work. We went to a soccer game together, and we went back to his house and I did my work and he was working. So it kind of, was what would life be like every day? When the honeymoon's over and you're I'm not going to do my work. I just really want to hang out with you right now. When that, goo goo gaga stuff is over and the reality of life is in play, you know, how do we respond? And so, you know, like I was doing work, I got really tired. I was going to go to sleep. So I took my shower and then I walked into the room to like lay down on the bed by myself. And I was like, I just really don't want to go to bed without him. And he's still up working. And so, you know, I'm just going to go sit by him. There really wasn't a chair, a place to sit next to him. So I sat a few feet away in a different chair and kind of chatted with him while he did his work. And, you know, it was just kind of nice to feel like I was able to support him and be there with him in that situation while he was working still. And so it's nice. But the reason why yesterday was so chaotic and I was so exhausted, so it's like I had this great conversation, came home, you know, we had construction still going on in the house here. So that's always a little bit chaos. It was raining a lot. My one son is now the last one with like, you know, illness, and he's got a big competition coming up this week. And so I'm like, okay, I was cooking him food and it was cold, and the next thing you know, I get a call from Chris, and he's like, hey, so my car won't start. I'm stuck at the post office. And the weird thing is it won't even let me in, like not even with the manual override key. Like I cannot get in the car. I was like, no problem. Like I'm going to just finish up. I'm literally plating my son's food, our son's food, whatever. I'm telling you my son, but I didn't say my son to him. But like I'm literally plating his food. I'm going to bring it up to him, and then I'll head out. So, you know, I grab us food because I was like hungry. So I was like, I'm just going to grab our food in case, you know, we have a chance to eat it. We had like leftovers from the night before that we were planning to eat, or at least so he could have his. And I'm driving there, hit a pothole. Like I can't even make this thing up. Next thing you know, within seconds, I get this warning, and you just see the tire pressure going down and down and down. And I was like, hey, so good news, Chris. I am on the way. Bad news. My tire is flat. And he's like, what? And so I made it to almost where he was at. There was like a parking lot across the street that like was empty. And so I went there because he was in a big post office parking lot, and I've got a big truck, and the tire needed to be changed. And if it didn't work, then, you know, the tow truck would need to get on. So we went over there, and, you know, he couldn't get the tire off at first, and he's reading, you know, he was staying chipper, he was staying whatever. I mean, it was pouring on him. I'm in the car. I'm like, you need some help back there? And the funny thing about it, not funny, but funny, ironic, I should say, was the day before I was taking my son to the airport, we literally saw like 10 cars on the side of the road. And he was like, your car's just built different because you just flew over the pothole and not a problem. So maybe it was already like compromised from that. And I was like, yeah. And I mean, it was just like so many cars down the road had hit this particular pothole. And, you know, had wreaked havoc on all these cars. And he was like, oh my gosh, what if that was us? I'm like, right? Like, I don't know how to change a tire. And I know I should learn and all this stuff. Listen, it's a big truck. I'm not in the mood for all this business. And so I was like, I would just call AAA. He's like, what would I do? I'm like, I don't know. You call Uber and like say, hey, pick me up on the side of the freeway, I guess. I don't know. And then we were kind of like just laughing about it. And then literally like 24 hours later, here I am, you know, pop tire myself. So we stayed in like pretty good spirits. I got a little frustrated because like I, you know, had called my daughter, and I was like, hey, look, because it's like time near, I have to pick up my son. And then he had a game, and, you know, so I'm starting to feel like the pressure. Chris isn't getting the tire off. The tow truck says it's an hour and a half to 2 hours away. Yes. And so I call her, and I'm like, hey, can you, you know, pop tire? This one's broken. Like, and she's like, I am not seeing how this is my problem. And I got so frustrated. I'm like, it isn't your problem, but somebody needs help, and I need help. Like, can you help me? And then she's frustrated because the way in which I spoke was not politically correct, or, you know, exactly doing things. She's like, no, I will not be getting you. I'm like, listen, now I'm going to pull a power play. This is not a negotiation and, you know, a hostage situation here. I need you to freaking get in the car and pick me up. I can take you back home so that I can get your brother and get the stuff done. I have 2 disabled cars here. Thankfully, eventually, Chris was able to get the spare on, and thankfully, eventually, my daughter did show up. But it wasn't without me having to lose my crap on her. I was, like, so frustrated. I was like, listen, I don't have time, you know, for the negotiations and asking, when I'm asking for a ride, to be like, why is this my problem? I'm not saying it is your problem. I'm just saying your problem is you need to come and pick me up. Like, I get it if you're busy, but you're laying on the freaking bed watching TikTok. You can come pick up your mom in the pouring rain so I can pick up your brother. Like, oh, it was that part exhausted me more than things. So, you know, thankfully the tow truck was coming anyways. My car was solved, but Chris's, you still couldn't get in. So the tow truck helped get in the car because you can't even pop open the hood or the trunk. You couldn't do anything, nothing. And so, you know, he came, got it, took the car to Costco. We did take my car to Costco to find out the tire is so damaged they cannot repair it, which means I need to wait because of course they don't just have my tire in stock. We need to order it. So now my car is here. And like I say, we finally got that other car fixed and it's been the best blessing, but on the same turn, it was like, you know, it would have been hassle without it. But like on the same turn, like, whew, every single other week, there's some kind of vehicle expense between batteries and tires and oil leaks and you name it, it's happening. So I'm just kind of rolling with the punches, you know, besides my interaction with my daughter, like, I'm like, it is what it is. Like, I can't even get frustrated or mad about it. Like, that's the difference. Like, before it would have been dwelling and it would have made my whole day impacted by these things. And I just like found it funny. Like, you know, I was like joking with the guys at the tire shop and they're like, well, ma'am, you know, when it rains and pours, I'm like, literally. And it was like pouring. There was like flooding last night. And so, you know, I'm in the middle of the flood just running around. And at first I'm trying to like cover myself. I'm like, listen, whatever. I just was running in the rain. Didn't even care. I was like, we're getting going. So that all happened. And my son had a game. And by the time I got home and everything, I had to still post, like, there just was no time to record. So I was like, okay, I gotta make sure I record today. But I came home and it's like always, mom, I've been in these like decluttering, cleaning, you know, these modes. Like, you know, I always say my room is this representation of how I am feeling. And if my room is a chaotic mess, then you know on the inside is a mess. And lately I have been just wanting to clean and purge and just eliminate all the excess baggage I'm carrying on, all the excess stuff. Like, even so much so that like when the construction guys came, they're like, wow, your whole garage, like what happened here? And I was like, listen, I've been preaching on, you know, at work, you know, about decluttering and the power. And every time I walk in that garage now, even though it's less than perfect, it still it made so much improvement. Like, I'm so proud, and it makes it manageable. So every time I go in, it's either manageable to maintain keeping it clean, or I'm now able to say, okay, what are a few other things that I can purge and get rid of, give away, recycle, donate, whatever it is. And it's just really nice to start feeling this release of things that I believed for so long I really needed to hold on to, or I believed I needed to make a decision on, and I didn't want to make a decision, so I just left it in the garage to die. So moving forward is just, for me, I feel so much pride. Yes, it's taken time. Like the other day, I fell like really hard because I've been like obsessed with the blower lately. Like, we have all these white things. I've talked about them before on here. The funny thing about it is they are in bloom right now and they just go everywhere. Like they're little seedlings and they're beautiful tree to look at. Like, it's gorgeous, but it stinks and it makes the biggest mess. And so like every day I'm out there blowing because the minute somebody walks in, even though we don't wear shoes in the house, it like trucks it into the garage, it trucks it into the house. Then I'm over here today and I'm vacuuming for like 30 minutes and I'm like, I'm literally not understanding, why is nothing sucking up? Like, I look, no, there's like no hair in the rollers, like everything is working like it should be. Come to find out, the belt wasn't on, and so like the thing isn't rotating, and I was like, so, you know, I spent another 30 minutes trying to figure it out myself, and I'm like, I know Chris explained this to me, but it was in the thick of when he left, and it did not go well, and I was just like, I can't right now. So he's gonna come over later and fix that for me. Thank you very much. But I'm like, I just didn't have the capacity at the time to retain it. And I tried. I was like, I know it's this. I know I'm really close. And there's like one step or one part I'm missing. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just grateful he's in my life right now because, you know, not because of the vacuum, but because of the vacuum. Like, it's nice to have him for the vacuum, you know? Like, not that that's the only thing, obviously, but it's just really nice. Like, I feel like I have a partner. Like, it brings me so much joy. Like, we do this like thing now where I like he like jumps, like he picks me up into his arms and like we hug, and I don't know, there's something just so special about it. And in certain positions, like I just like could lay on his chest, and I just felt like all the like worries and things I needed to do, like kind of just melted away for a few minutes. And I was like, I've done some really cool things this weekend, and I've done some really cool things with you right here, right now. Like I just feel at home. I feel in peace. And so I can tell I am eating a lot because like I love breaking bread with people, and like my steps are still lower because I'm still not fully back from my injury, and I'm more paranoid. Like I just don't want it to come back, so I'm trying to like stay in moderation. And like we were just doing a lot of eating, you know, like when you start a new relationship, yeah, like we're in that stage, and I'm like, okay, you know, I need to hone it back. It's like 3 meals a day, like, but we, at least when we eat, we usually share with each other. But like I just feel like so much so lately, like I just feel like I'm like like I just ate so much, like it's just, you know, like I feel overstuffed, and I don't like that feeling. So I don't mind eating, but like I need to like maybe take my portions down a skosh to where I'm not like hurting and sick after eating. You know, even if I am eating 2-3 times a day or whatever, it doesn't, 3, 4, whatever it is, that doesn't matter. So, you know, I'm just really grateful to be here. I'm really grateful for the progress, right? Like every day isn't a 10, every day isn't an 8, every day isn't a freaking 6 even, you know, like every day isn't easy. Every day is filled with some kind of challenge, at least if you're me. Like there's just way too many people and things going on that I'm like, nothing happened today. I wish, maybe I'd be bored. But that's what I want to share. Like, I want you to know things happen. You literally go drive somebody. Like, you're doing a good deed. I'm going to go help you. I have a big truck. We'll jump you, and you'll get back on the road, and your day will go on. And you hit a pothole. Like, and before to, you know, like my dad always says this saying, and it never ever like connected with me. It actually irritated me, and it still irritates me. It's like, he always says this thing that no good deed goes unpunished. And I like don't agree with it. Like I don't accept that. Like I don't think because I did a good deed that I'm going to get punished. Like I think the opposite is, yeah, things happen, and maybe they may feel like punishments or whatever, if you want to view them like, you know, maybe I'm being punished. For what am I being punished? To hit a bottle. Like I literally did nothing wrong. Like I did nothing wrong all day long. I was a good girl. Like there was no reason to be punished or get upset about it, because I can't take it back. I can't, you know, mend the sidewall of the tire so that the air isn't leaking out in a rapid fashion. You know, it is what it is. And I'm fortunate that I have another car. I'm fortunate that my daughter did eventually pick me up. I'm fortunate that like today when I have to go to the gym, Chris is like, you can take my car, because you know what? I don't know how to use the damn charger in her car or have any Bluetooth. And that seems like a stupid little thing, but when you're driving for 30 minutes there and 30 minutes back, listening to music or a podcast or being able to charge your phone, it's an important thing for me. It makes life easier. And he was really nice. And, you know, I've been telling him I need to get like this mowing, these things done. And he was like, hey, you've been saying it. I don't want you to strain yourself. How can I help? You know, so it's like, these are the things that I've been wanting. And it's not just that, like we do many other things. It's the communicating. It's being able to have the tough conversations, wanting to go back into our default settings, and then realize, hold on a second, this doesn't feel right. Let's circle back and not like leave it as we were. Like we're both really actively practicing showing up differently. We are not going to always get it right. And we are going to have tough days. Like yesterday and all other means would have been a tough day, right? We had to drop, you know, $300+ on, you know, because my tire thankfully had a warranty, so I only had to pay for a part of it, but it was over $300+ on, you know, batteries and a tire alone. And you know, it could have been something that in the past would have caused a lot of strife. But at the end of the day, sometimes life just lives. And that was a test. And in my opinion, we passed the test. Like, I feel good about it. I'm proud, except for my interaction with my daughter, I am proud of how I reacted. I am proud of how I responded to lifing. And that's all it's doing. Is nothing is set against me or out to get me or out to get him. It just happens. Like, it's happening. I don't know why, I don't know. And I'm not going to sit there and try to figure it out, because quite honestly, I'll never know. I mean, for me, it's good enough to know, like, hey, I'm learning a lesson. Hey, I'm putting all these skills that I talk about, all these skills that I'm learning and acquiring to the test. And, it's a beautiful thing. And I think that, allowing people to be who they are and allowing us to see, because it's easy to be like, oh, I've changed and I've done these things. But then, like I say, when I have an interaction with my daughter, I'm like, here we are. I'm going right back to these patterns in which I don't necessarily like. And, we take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back sometimes. And, it's in those back steps in which I learn. It's in those back steps in which I realize, hey, wait a second. Like, I don't like how this feels. What is it I can do differently? And having that awareness is the first step, right? Because now we have to play with it. Now we have to be like, okay, let's experiment and see how is it we can adapt and how is it we can pivot. And so that was yesterday. It was all about adapting. It was all about pivoting. It was all about, I had a certain set of plans. He had a certain set of plans. Having a dead battery in the pouring rain and a flat tire were not part of the plans. But nonetheless, those things happen and we were able to respond. And maybe for other people, they're like, seriously, this is something you're proud of yourself? You know what I mean? But like, sometimes those moments are the ones that would bring me the most anxiety, like would bring me the most strife, would bring me the most overwhelm, because so many things, life is a moving part here. Like, there are tasks and there are things that need to be done. And it seems like my life is ever, just, you don't know what is going to happen. I'm always ready for the pivot, and I'm always ready to adapt, not necessarily always willing. Sometimes I'm like, I just wanted to do it this way. But like, having that ability is the key to the resilience that we need in order to create change in our lives. And, it's so important to thank yourself and reflect and be proud when you do something that perhaps you're like, this is not like worthy of my celebration. No, it is. Like, you made your bed, you helped somebody out, you cooked a great meal, you exhibited self-care to yourself, you gave yourself compassion. Like, like I say, when I don't respond to my daughter the way in which I want, it's not something I feel good about ever, like never. And it's something that I'm really, really working on being better. And I really do hope that I'm able to show up in the relationship the way in which I want to, and the way in which she deserves and I deserve, and one in a way that makes our relationship grow and flourish. And so I say all this to say, thank you so much for tuning in today. I get it. Like, life. What has happened to you lately that you were like, what is happening? Like, what's going on? Have you had some flat tires? Have you had like paperwork gone missing? Like, have you had these things that you're just like, I don't know, like it's really like this change of your day or your moment or your thing. And so please comment and share below what it is that you have had to kind of roll with, what little punches have come your way and you're like, hey, you know what, this punch before would have knocked me down on my butt, but here I am, I'm still standing, I'm a little battered, I'm a little bruised, and quite honestly, I'm a little broker, but I'm all the wiser. And at the end of the day, it's just money. More importantly, I learned this can happen and I can survive it. So thank you so much for tuning in today. Please go out there, give somebody a big smile, give them a compliment, and just watch how they glow up. So thank you. Bye.